bandage on his leg? What's going on there?
A bit of tough love.
On this episode...
I don't think he likes you, Schnitzel.
Something really bad could happen to him if he keeps it up any longer.
I'm going to put some faith in Chris. We're hoping he'll come up with an answer for us.
See that? A quick lick and he's gone. I've got to say, I've seen some weird things, but I've never seen anything like this. And I reckon, haha, and look where it goes. Straight back. That's really interesting.
But first...
He's freaking out right now.
Yeah. He was just kind of sitting there, kind of struggling.
During last night's storm, he's been tossed around. Young kid not able to handle a big surf, huh? There is something seriously wrong with little Harmon. What is that? Can you believe it? Why couldn't he stand up on the beach this morning? Why couldn't he run away? Paralysed legs. There could be a potentially fatal allergic reaction. This is such a tough call. I'm on my way to work, but I've just received a call and I've got to take a bit of a detour. A massive storm blew up last night, and I'm suspecting this penguin I'm going to see right now was caught right in the middle of it. Hello.
Go in here and up.
No worries, thank you. How you going, buddy? I'm Chris.
Nice to meet you.
So what's going on here?
We were just out down at the beach. We were gonna kind of go for a night swim, and we saw him kind of close to the water. He was just kind of sitting there, kind of struggling, kind of trying to walk or waddle a little bit. But it seemed like maybe one of his wings was injured or...
Okay. I'm just going to have a look at him,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I just don't want to stress him out too much right now. Buddy.
We figured he might be in a little bit of trouble, kind of the way he was walking, the way he was using his wing and stuff, so we couldn't really leave him there, so we decided we'd grab him.
Is there a name for him?
We've been calling him Harmon.
Harmon. So was he unable to move when you saw him?
No, he wasn't unable to move. He just seemed like he
Didn't really want to.
didn't really want to move that much. He just seemed like he was kind of struggling when he did move.
He's not meant to be in a bathtub. So in his mind, he's freaking out right now. Harmon must be terrified. I'm thinking the poor little guy normally lives in a penguin colony on the northern side of the harbour. And during last night's storm, he's been tossed around and blown way off course. That explains how he ended up being washed ashore at Bondi at 3 a.m. But it doesn't explain why he's so weak and why he's left himself so open to predators.
Buddy, go get better, huh?
Okay, thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you so much.
There is something seriously wrong with little Harmon, and there's absolutely no chance of him surviving the ocean until I figure out what it is. Hey, buddy. Yeah, I was looking at you. You're pretty small, aren't you? I reckon you might be young. Young kid not able to handle a big surf, huh? I guess what's confusing me right now is the fact that his plumage is fantastic. It's shiny, it's got that blue tinge to it. So we can assume that he hasn't come ashore to molt. The thing that just keeps on nagging my mind is the fact that it blew up one big storm last night. Big southerly came through. Now, if he hasn't been 100% and he's got caught anywhere near any sort of wave zone, then he's going to get smashed by those waves. And we may be seeing the consequences of this right now. Oh, far out. Twice. It's just getting ridiculous. Harmon. You're all for harming me, aren't you? So I'm sitting here checking his heart, which sounds okay. Notice his eyes are actually quite sunken, so he is certainly dehydrated, and that comes from the fact that he hasn't eaten, really, certainly today. Birds, like penguins, get their water through their fish, and if he hasn't eaten, then he hasn't drunk either. Give me a second. What is that? You see this? That's a tick. Look at it, it's been feeding off little Harmon here for at least a few days, and all the while that ticks are feeding, they're injecting their saliva, which has a toxin which paralyses them. But it paralyses them from the back forward. Why couldn't he stand up on the beach this morning? Why couldn't he run away? Paralysed legs. It's got to be careful to get all of the tick. And that's it right there. It's a big tick. Big tick. A paralysis tick on a dog or a cat, absolutely. But on a penguin, it's got to be some sort of first. Oh, another one. Can you believe it? There it is, number 2. Just in awe of the fact that one of these could be fatal for a big dog. He's got 2. So this is tick serum. It's used in dogs, it's used in cats. Doesn't say anything about it being used in penguins. Might be time to call in the big guns. Seek some advice from some experts. You can give birds this tick serum.
You can, but I've been very cautious because you've always worried about an anaphylaxis.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck.
Thanks for that. Might need it. Cheers.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, bye. Should have mentioned before, the expert is Dad. I can give Harmon the tick serum and risk him suffering a fatal allergic reaction, or I can do nothing and potentially watch him die from the effects of the paralysis ticks. This is such a tough call. Can you stand up for us? This is typical of tick paralysis. They start off okay, then their muscles exhaust themselves. Harmon is getting much worse, so that's really made the final decision for me. I'm gonna move. I just don't think he's gonna survive without having that anti-serum. So I'm just gonna have to take the risk there could be a potentially fatal allergic reaction. His dose is just 1/2 ml, but I'm actually gonna dilute that out for further insurance in another 1/2 ml of saline. It seems like I'm being a bit gutless, and I am. I just don't want to take any chances because the big thing for me is that the risk of him having an allergic reaction has to be less than the risk of him dying from tick paralysis. Otherwise, there's no point doing this. So if I can minimise any risk of that allergic reaction happening, I'm going to do it. Well, fingers crossed. If the allergic reaction is going to happen, it should happen over the next half an hour. His heart rate's certainly stable. There's no sound of any bronchoconstriction, which is the narrowing of the airways in an allergic reaction. So he's tracking along pretty well. How are you coping with that? Feeling all right? He's still fighting the effects of the tick paralysis, and we just won't know if that anti-serum's gonna work for at least another 24 hours. You know where you're going though, don't you? To my house. You had no choice in the matter at all. Harmon needs peace and quiet to recover and to get his strength back. But a vet clinic full of barking dogs obviously isn't the place to do that. So I'm gonna have to take him home with me. That means I've got to tell my flatmates to keep the noise down. Hello, George.
Hello.
Do you have to inspect all visitors, George? George, this could be interesting. You like your fish as well, don't you? Good competition. Some food, buddy? Harmon, meet George. George went in the ocean. He didn't like it. You live in the ocean. You like it. People might recognise George. He was the cat that was senselessly put into a cat cage and thrown into the ocean at Bondi. But since then he's been onto a foster carer, and then I adopted him. And now he's living a pretty good life, with the occasional visitor. You ever get the feeling you're being watched, Harmon? It's actually going really well. He's taking his food beautifully and settling in, just seems more comfortable with humans being around him, and even if they are forcing food down his throat, it works out. It's not a bad deal after all. It's going to take a full 24 hours to truly know just how seriously those ticks have affected him. But once he's through that period, with a bit of fish on board, he might just be right for a release. It's bedtime. I know it's early. Have a good night's sleep, buddy. Morning, Harmon. How'd you sleep? Come here. I had a few little squeaks from you. Come on. Now, how are you feeling today? Any change from you? Oh, that's positive. Oh, hang on. You feeling good, are you? You got food on your mind? You trying to tell me something? Big improvement compared to how he was yesterday. It was just floppy. And now he actually seems quite energetic and full of life. And I can't help but notice every walking movement seems to be in the direction of the fish. So he may be trying to tell us something there. The thing about any fairy penguin is that they're not great on their feet. But yesterday he couldn't even use his legs at all. But today, he's getting around very quickly, almost too quickly. So that's a great sign. It's showing that toxin is being countered by the serum that we gave him, but also his own strength is recovering. He would have been through quite an ordeal being dumped in that surf with legs that just weren't working. Remember, these legs are his rudder. So without a rudder, he was just lost at sea, hit by waves, blown ashore, and really very alone in the world. Yet he's come through this ordeal and is now looking as though he wants to make a recovery, and that's great. That's not a fish, that's a fish. Here you go. That's an improvement, isn't it? Yeah, it's coming. This is why I'm quite keen to get him on his way soon. This is behaviour he'd normally display around his mum. He's begging for food and he's thinking, I'm actually going to regurgitate the food seemingly through my fingers. That's penguin saliva. It might be time to ease Harmon back into the ocean-going lifestyle. It's amazing to think that just 36 hours ago, Harmon came in from the open ocean, blown in by a massive storm onto this beach right here, looking for shelter. And as you can see, there's just no shelter here. He's just so lucky he was found, and found by good people that knew what to do and got help as soon as they could. It's not easy. I hope he appreciates it. Look what we've got for you. Oh, buddy. Stretch those little flippers of yours. Ease you into it, ease you into it. There we go. It's salty. He's pretty much ready to make the journey he was trying to attempt during that storm. So we're going to do it for him, but in a bit of a scenic way. Not peeking out of there. How you going? I'm Chris.
Very well, nice to meet you, Chris. Rick.
Hey Rick, now this is Harmon.
I've never had a passenger like that in my taxi before, I must say. We're very excited.
Any extra fare for him?
Absolutely gorgeous, no, not at all. He's free.
And look at this. It's all right, isn't it? Look at that. reckon? Oh, you want to go, don't you? As soon as we were out in the water, Harmon started to get excited. He's had such a tough battle. I just hope he can find his mates and get on with his life. But with wildlife releases, there's never any guarantees. Is this familiar, Harmon? All starting to make sense? The great thing about this area is that we're surrounded by penguin colonies. So penguins are social creatures. He wants to be around other little penguins, and he will be. And that's important just for his social structure and his skills and his confidence. Just to be able to find friends straight away. Won't be too long. It's just a perfect spot. Quiet, secluded beach. We're surrounded by penguin colonies. He just has to jump into that water there and he'll find some friends. It's just spot on. You keep safe, champ. Okay. Here you go. Here you go. In you get. In you go, champ. In you go. Off you go. To navigate all those challenges, come through it all, and then have this, great. I've just recently received an email from Catherine and Scott, who live on this cattle property. Now, they've got a weird problem. It involves a Dachshund and a cow. And the bizarre thing is the Dachshund could very well be in trouble. How are you?
Hey, Chris.
Must be Scott.
Yeah.
How you going? I'm Chris.
How are you, mate?
Nice to meet you.
Hi,
Hello,
Chris.
Catherine.
Thanks for coming out.
How are you? G'day. You're Jake?
Jake.
Jake and Ben
Hey Ben, how are you?
and Harry.
Hey Harry, how are you, buddy? Good. There's one missing. Do I ask where Schnitzel is?
I'll give you one guess.
I've got to say, I've seen some weird things, but I've never seen anything like this. Schnitzel cannot stop licking. He just wants to be all over that calf, lick every part of that calf, and I mean every part. Working out why that happens though, that's going to be hard.
A little while ago this year, the season started getting a bit dry and we saw an increase in the number of calves that were having trouble feeding. And when that happens, we usually bring them up to the house yard where they spend a couple of weeks. We feed them and get them back on their feet again before they go out to another paddock. And when we brought these calves in, we found that Schnitzel just became absolutely obsessed with them. Right from the beginning, he was jumping all over them, licking their face. And it's got to the point where he just will not leave them. He sleeps with them night and day. And unless we dragged him inside to eat, I think he would just stop eating altogether.
Well, Schnitzel. Before the calves turned up, he was a work dog, basically. Not a very good one, but if you were on the motorbike, he was on the motorbike. If you were on the tractor, he was on the tractor. Since then, he's become a homebody now.
What do you think they're offering that you're not?
I don't know. I don't let him lick my mouth.
You ever try?
No, we won't.
As long as he doesn't do that to you, Scott.
No, that's right. No, we
That's all I'd be worried about.
won't be doing that.
And the calf's a lot bigger, and with a good kick, they could really do him damage.
Exactly.
I mean, could kill him.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we were worried about.
I can't help but notice he's got a bandage on his leg. What's going on there?
A bit of tough love. One of his friends stood on his toe.
It's one thing to be trodden on, but it's another thing to be kicked in the head. That could be deadly.
Ooh.
It's wild. I don't think he likes you, Schnitzel.
They've actually broken one of his toes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's got a few issues, I think, in the mental department. Yeah. He's probably mad would be the nicest way you could put it.
Something really bad could happen to him if he keeps it up any longer.
Schnitzel, reply.
When Jake goes near the calves, Schnitzel will actually growl at him. We're not sure if Schnitzel would ever bite him, but it's a bit of a worry. we're going to put some faith in Chris. We're hoping he'll come up with an answer for us.
I'm starting to form a theory. There are some calves that are a little bit older than this one, and I just want to see how he goes with those. What is going on in there? Yeah, some sort of weights. But see that? A quick lick and he's gone. And I reckon if we follow him here, haha, and look where he goes, straight back. That's really interesting because he's more interested in the younger ones. And there's a reason for that. I get the impression he doesn't really like being left alone, Catherine.
No, if we lock him up like this, he gets very upset, barks and whines.
I might grab him. I just want to see something with the other real farm dogs and see how he goes with those. I'm yet to see one of them even make eye contact with him. He just doesn't exist.
No.
What's going on, mate?
I do find it fascinating that even with members of his own species, they just ignore him. They give him a big brush. This situation just has to make Schnitzel feel quite alone. You've always got to feel sorry for the little guy. He tries so hard.
You know, I was telling you that he has had some strange friends in the past. Well, we've got some video footage of some of his piglet friends. He actually taught these ones to use the dog door.
Keeps strange company, doesn't it? What that really does show me is that Schnitzel, apart from being mad, is certainly needy. He's always seeking out company. He doesn't like to be left alone. But there's got to be something else that he's getting out of these relationships. Thankfully, I do have a few theories. I'm just going to test them out, and fingers crossed I'm on the right track here.
Chris, just the man I wanted to see. Have I got a job for you?
What?
Calf with a broken leg?
You serious?
Serious?
Is he kidding?
I don't
Jumped
think
on?
so.
Schnitzel, you're going to have to wait.
Down the paddock. Broken front leg. There.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Still don't
Up
believe
for
it. I'll grab my bag. Hang on.
Right.
You joking?
No.
Unbelievable. How old's this calf, do you know?
It wouldn't be more than a week, I don't think, by the look of it. Yeah.
So there's a few dingoes around here?
Oh, there's plenty of dogs around, yeah. We do sort of trapping and baiting programs to try and keep their numbers in check, but we lose a few calves a year to them.
Yeah. So what's the plan, mate?
Well, when you grab it, if it starts to bellow, then not only the mother will come, then quite a few others will come to help out as well. So if it gets too close and personal for you, just let the calf go. And everybody will think, gutless, but yeah, you can live with that.
You just tell me when.
Yeah, go now. You're right.
Yep. So obviously been stepped on there. It's unstable too, it does move immediately there and also a little bit laterally. And whenever those bone fragments are moving on each other, they're not going to heal.
No.
If we were to do nothing and leave those bones just essentially hanging in the breeze, the bones would never fuse. She'd be left with a broken leg for the rest of her life. But I think something had happened before that.
Yeah, I'd say a cow's probably stepped on it when it was laying down. And
It's actually doing amazingly well to get around on that.
yeah, well, you see them when they carry them, a lot of time they will actually flap from side to side, and that just about makes you grit your teeth. It's got to hurt.
Yeah, exactly. Just got Mum behind us, keeping a pretty close eye on proceedings, and she
Come on.
They do get distressed when they know their calves are distressed. If this calf is actually the survivor.
When they're not real mobile, the dogs will get them pretty quick, so the mothers leave them planted because they can't travel, and then they're on their own, and that sort of exacerbates the problem of being eaten.
Because we didn't plan this, I'm sort of having to pull a few things together. I've got some bandaging material, but no cast or no splint, so thankfully Scott's got just the thing. Soaring? It's not on you. You can relax. This is how you do it out here, is it?
Very inventive, huh?
How do you reckon the owners of one of the poodles back in Bondi would handle it if I'd set them home one of these on their leg?
Well, you may not get your bill paid, eh? So you've just got to go with what you've got.
Well, it's not the typical way a vet would normally fix a fracture. That's effective. I didn't exactly expect to be doing this, so there's no plaster in the bag.
Oh, I thought you were always prepared.
There you go, girl.
So you're taking a bit of weight on it.
Yeah.
Ah, well done.
Can you give that a pass, Mike?
Oh, just, eh? Just 55%.
Just.
Well, he's obviously proved that he sort of knows a little bit about being a vet, but we'll see how we go sorting Schnitzel out. That'll be sort of more of a test of the mind, I believe.
Just hoping this little interlude's bought me a bit of time. Got Scott a little bit on side, because Schnitzel is still to be solved.
Okay, Chris, you've had Schnitzel on your leather couch today. You've had a chance to psychoanalyse him.
There's been plenty to do, I can tell you. The first reason he doesn't, apart from being mad, is the fact that when you look around the farm, all the other animals ignore him. He's just a little guy with no friends. But the thing about the calves is they don't. They sit there and they let him do it. Finally, an animal cares about me.
Yeah.
The second reason, though, and you're wondering about why he only obsesses over the really young ones, and then as time goes on, he gets less interested.
Loses interest,
He
yeah.
don't. The reason for that is that when a calf's in the placenta, it's bathing in a rich soup of pheromones, essentially, of nutrients. When that calf comes out, it reeks, almost sends him into a frenzy,
Yeah.
which he's in right now. So what do? Well, I hate to say it, we actually have to bath the calves to remove those odours.
Okay. I can see how it makes sense.
It's possible, I suppose. Proof will be in the pudding, won't it? We'll see what happens.
It's just like a dog, really.
Well, it probably doesn't shake itself at the end of it.
Oh, you'll see. We've got to really target the smelly spots, which is around the face and the ears, and also around the back end too. He's a bit frightened there. So I guess part two is a bit of calf cologne. So the Vicks Vapor Rub, dogs just hate this smell. It's quite a powerful odour. So right now we have our big test. I'm hoping the smell is going to override that need of Schnitzels to have company and that need of Schnitzels to find those pheromones. Fingers crossed. Righto, Harry, release the beast.
Here he comes. Ooh.
Oh, what have you done to my mate?
Ooh.
Nowhere to go, Schnitzel.
He does not like that.
Schnitzel. Don't come to me, I did this to you. Taking away your mate. You want to be a people dog now, do you?
Bite him, Schnitzel.
One more sniff? Ooh.
He's a rotten bugger, isn't he? You know, he's ruined it.
Go on, Schnitzel. What about your friend? There you go. Success.
Well, I'll make you a deal. I'll catch him, you wash him and Vicks him.
That sounds almost fair.
Come on, then off. We're going to do some work. Come on. Good to go? Oh, I guess I better take it for a ride on the bike and put some cows out.
We've been thinking for a while about getting another Dackie. Scott's often working outside and I'm going to work. The kids are at school, so I can see how getting another dog would actually be a really good idea for him. Maybe he's looking for some more dependable friends that are going to be around more often for him.
Success, despite the greatest of doubters.
Oh, you're the master.
Oh, thank you, Jake. Thank you, that means a lot. We can now leave this property, head held high, and with Schnitzel, back with the family.
If you guys loved that video, great. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel below. That way.